What's up, everyone? It's Jordan Kurtz with comments from the Peanut Gallery, as well as the MMA plug powered by DenverSportsBetting.com. This is time now for the weekly segment, What I Got Right and What I Got Wrong. This is sponsored by Colorado Native Company. If you have any heating and air conditioning needs as we wrap up the summer season going into fall and winter, make sure that you give Colorado Native Company and my boy Robbie a look. Let him know that the Peanut Gallery sent you. So without further ado, let's dive into things. The very first thing that we have to take a look at is, as a whole, this card was condensed, so there was some that we initially talked about on Saturday morning that didn't actually end up happening that night. It was only 7 fights on the card as a whole. We pretty much cleaned up with what we put out there for you. We took home 6 of 7 on the money line picks, and we also hit on a couple of the prop bets. So let's take a look at a couple of the statements that were made in the preview. So the very first one, we'll take a look at the main event with Alistair Overeem against Augusto Sakai. Said that Alistair is definitely, he's someone who is mounting up for that last ride. The big question is going to be the elephant in the room, which was going to be his chin. I feel like Alistair was able to answer the call on that. He was able to protect his chin. He wore a lot of damage to the side of the head. Sakai threw a lot of hooks and a lot of looping punches. He did have that pretty big hematoma off to the side, but if you take notice, where was that not? That was not on his chin, which we've seen him get touched on at times where sometimes the lights go out. We said that we would see a similar game plan with a little bit of caution on the side, with grappling in the mix, with Alistair going up against a big, heavy striker like someone like Sakai. Overall, though, Alistair stood up a lot more than I thought, so that's kind of a hit and a miss at the same time. Nonetheless, the Demolition Man takes another step closer to the title shot, and we're on to the next. Ovince SaintPreux against Alonzo Menefield. This was a rescheduled bout. This was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago. What I thought from a couple of weeks ago basically played out to fruition in this matchup. I said that even though this might have been a couple more weeks for someone like Menefield to prepare, it's just not enough to be able to overcome the experience gap when you're talking somebody as strong of a veteran as OSP, as Ovince SaintPreux is. And as we saw, as the fight got on later and got into the second round, Menefield started to overextend himself. He didn't look as winded as he did against Clark a couple of months ago, but those early telltale signs of him just kind of overextending, not really being the most crisp at the end of his punches, left him open for that big counter shot from OSP that saw him meet the canvas. We did not see the next one. That one got canceled with Thiago. Michel Pereira. I said Michel Pereira is must-see TV, and holy shit, Michel Pereira is the real deal. That guy is big, he's fast, he's strong, he's explosive, and he has the sauce. Give him a microphone, give him a camera, and that guy's going to put on a show. Brian Kelleher against, we had forecasters to be against Kevin Natividad, but he ended up going up against Ray the Judge Rodriguez on a very short notice situation, since Natividad ended up pulling on that morning. He said that there will be a statement at some point from him, basically to detail what went on as far as the proceedings for that fight. But with Ray the Judge, he just, I can't help but think that it was a very unprepared situation. When you have a guy like Brian Kelleher, who that he has a signature move. He calls it the boomatine for a reason. And you go in with a half-ass shot leaving your neck out like that, you're just praying for him to go and take that 50K. It's just simple as that. Then, looking at Montana De La Rosa and Viviane Arujo. I'm totally butchering that last name. I apologize, but don't speak Portuguese. Forgive me. De La Rosa's won 4 of 5, and she looks solid in the process. She was tough in that fight, but she definitely was on the losing end of that battle. But what you can say for the Elevation Fight Team product is that she stood her ground for the entirety of the fight, and she showed a lot of heart. the ability to just keep on trading back and forth while weathering some adversity or enduring some adversity was pretty impressive to see. That leads me to believe that at only 25 years old, she still has a very, very high ceiling and will be able to learn and grow from this. Whereas on the flip side, Vivi, at 33, she's kind of working against time now. But what she was able to show with some of the skills that she put out there on Saturday night in the octagon, she is pretty strong. She's got a strong case to continue to climb up the ranks of the division, and we'll see who may be next for her in that division. Rogerio de Lima and Romanov was canceled. Hunter Azure, Hunter Azure against Cole Smith. Said both of these guys are hungry to get back in the winner's circle after suffering their first career loss. Azure comes from a better camp at the MMA lab, has a lot of high-level caliber fighters around him. Coach John Crouch has a world-renowned program, and give me him on the money line. It's exactly what it went to. Was a unanimous decision win for Hunter. So we hit on both the pick and the money line. I'll be honest with you, I did put money on the TKO from Overeem. I didn't pick the round. There's a follower of the program who picked not only the finish but also picked the round for a plus 1800 line, which is incredible. My man picked up the bag this weekend from that. But I threw down a couple of bucks thinking that there is always going to be the chance that the K1 champion, the Strikeforce champion, the guy who has all of these striking credentials like Alistair does, might be able to clip the chin of Sakai and get lucky. Didn't end up needing to be a lucky situation. It came by the ground and pound, and he was absolutely vicious and ruthless with the ground and pound. So once again, we cleaned up 6 out of 7 as far as the money line picks. Also hit on a couple of the prop bets. Make sure that you follow Denver Sports Betting as well as the MMA Plug. I'm Jordan Kurtz with comments from the Peanut Gallery. This week's weekly What I Got Right and What I Got Wrong segment is sponsored by Colorado Native Company.